Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news as Ruben Amorim gets it wrong again. Big mistakes. We saw it last night. Rasmus Hojlund with a couple of goals. Rashford playing well again. Even Garnacho the night before didn't look too bad for Chelsea. Is this a stick to beat Amorim with though? Because I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think there are huge errors there. But some of them, I think he actually got right. I think he got it right about Rashford and Garnacho, to be honest with you. And I think that's just people jumping on the bandwagon. I think where he got it massively wrong was with not necessarily letting Rasmus go, but the issue that Rasmus exposed last night around service that doesn't happen to our strikers and hasn't happened for a long time. Also, news around these Saudi friendlies. What are your thoughts on those? Apparently, Gareth Southgate wouldn't take the Manchester United job. We've got the signing of the Columbian lad, which has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano as well. Lots to get into this morning. I hope you're all doing very well. But look, you know what? Unfortunately, I've got a bit of a seed from my smoothie in my teeth. That's not unfortunate. That's easily solved. What's not easily solved is Manchester United's issues. Now, look, we have people in the media, in our fan base, who struggle to come up with opinions, so just pluck them out their arse and get sensationalist about everything. When I see people saying, oh, Amorim's made a massive mistake letting Garnacho, Rashford and Rasmus go, I feel like you are the biggest hypocrites. You are massive problems, because I can literally go back and find your tweets. I can find your news articles. I can find your YouTube videos. It will take me 10 seconds and I will find you going, get rid of Garnacho, get rid of Rasmus, get rid of Rashford. They're out there. So I ain't got much time for these people on the call-ins or writing the articles or doing their videos going, oh, Amorim's a fool. These people are out there, making him look foolish. Because I heard nobody say, don't get rid of Rashford. I heard nobody say, don't get rid of Rasmus. And I heard nobody say, get rid of Garnacho. And when I say nobody, the vast majority were like, get rid of all three. So when I see them cooking at Barcelona, Chelsea and Napoli, I sort of go, whoa, hold on a minute. It's a bit like sacking the manager. This goes far bigger than this. There are owners here, there are the players here, and there is Amorim here. And you apportion the blame however you want to blame it. Where I think the most important place to start is, though, is it's not Garnacho, it's not Rashford, it's actually Rasmus. That's the one that pisses me off the most. Because on this channel, for years, we have detailed the lack of service that goes into the striker. We have detailed the slow ball into the striker. We have detailed the selfishness of our so-called creators. I watched the game last night and I watched Kevin De Bruyne. Now, anybody who tells me that Kevin De Bruyne is not better than Bruno Fernandes needs to leave right now. Will Young time. I think I better leave right now. Absolute nonsense. Kevin De Bruyne yesterday, second goal, early cross into the box, right where Rasmus wants it so he can attack it. They win the game 2-1. First goal, sees the run, plays the pass perfectly, runs through on one, finishes it really well. And I think it's not the fact that, and I read something that he's got 3 goals in 5 games for Napoli, and he had 3 goals in 35 games for Manchester United. That doesn't mean it's all Man United's fault. This is a player that didn't want to leave. But the service into our striker is abysmal. And that's where I do blame Amorim. That's where I do blame Ten Hag. That's where I do blame the Glazers, Ineos and everybody else. Because any Man United fan will tell you this. Ronaldo will tell you this from years ago. Cavani will tell you this. Weghorst will tell you this. Rashford will tell you this. When he was playing up front, Martial will tell you this. The stupid... It's not... No, Mike T. It's not a Bruno agenda. He is shit at supplying the striker. I've seen all the chances that Bruno creates. They're not like Kevin De Bruyne. Most of his chances that he creates are very different to that because he doesn't want to play that type of pass, which is why he'll never feed Cunha. He doesn't want to play the simple pass. He doesn't want to play the ball that's simple. He wants to play the Hollywood ball like everybody else. Everyone else wants to take a touch and hit a 50-yard diagonal. If a 50-yard diagonal, they got the tissues out. If it's a simple slip into the striker, I ain't playing that. I'm not here to do that. You know it. It's not about an agenda. We're 14th in the league again, mate. We finished 15th last year. Shove your agenda up your arse. We're shit. We're shit because we don't do the things that need to be done. We don't move the ball quick enough. We don't put the ball into the areas it needs to go to quick enough. We've got a bunch of selfish players that do selfish things. They're not motivated by team and winning. They're motivated by individuality. That's always been the case. Moments FC, that's what we are. We don't do what Kevin De Bruyne did last night. We don't do it. Simple. And you know what Kevin De Bruyne said last night after the game as well? You know what he said? Mr. Simplistic. You know, talk about Mr. Bombastic. Shaggy could do a re-release easily about Kevin De Bruyne and call him Mr. Simplistic. Because you know what he said after the game? He said, I think Rasmus is growing a lot and he's very similar to Hojlund. They both like to attack the depth. Rasmus comes to play the ball towards us more. He needs to attack the space a lot because he can score and give us a big hand. You know what that says? Rasmus is coming deep. De Bruyne wants him to go long into the space and he will find him. Why is Rasmus coming deep? Because he's had 2 years at Man United where if you run deep, run long, you don't get the ball, so you have to come deep to get it. That's just indoctrination of a shit Man United system where the striker is coming deep to get involved instead of going long for the ball that De Bruyne wants to play. That's a lack of trust, isn't it? You know, if you're playing for Man United, you've got to come and get involved because you're never going to get the service. Playing for Napoli now with De Bruyne, he's saying, don't worry about any of that. I'll do all that. You make the runs, I'll find you. Oh, lo and behold, 2 goals in the Champions League last night. That's what irritates me, is that we just don't service our forward players. And I think the same thing, and look, we can't do anything about Rasmus, we can't do anything about Garnacho, we can't do anything about Rashford, they're not here. But we can still rescue Mbeumo and Cunha's career. And the same thing's going to happen. If we don't feed them with the right ball because we've got selfish players, then we're going to have problems. And you know what? You might not have seen the Napoli goals last night, but it pissed me off. It really pissed me off because I'm watching them and I'm going, they're so simplistic. There's the run, there's the pass, one-on-one through the keeper's legs. There's the ball, early cross, flick at the front post, 2-1. We just don't score those goals. We don't score those goals because you know what we do? When De Bruyne has got it on the wing, if that is one of our players, De Bruyne gets it, looks up, bang. Man United player gets it, looks up, looks right, looks left, pass, 50-yard diagonal back to the keeper. Nobody wants to do that type of post, that type of ball. That's a failing. And you know, when people say, well, what's that got to do with Amorim? Hold on a minute. What happened in the summer? What did we do in the summer? We kept certain players and we didn't recruit certain players. And I think that, to me, is the mistake. Now, on Rashford and on Garnacho, honestly, I don't really know what people are talking about. Not unless you got the posters on the wall and you Player FC. I don't really get what you're talking about. We've sold Garnacho. He was walking around in a Villa shirt. He's not on loan. So I don't get the point with that. You know, he behaved like a prat. He's gone. I don't see the mistake with Garnacho, even if he starts playing well for Chelsea, because he behaved like an absolute prat. So, you know, forget that. In relation to Rashford, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but even before Amorim came, he wasn't playing well. Even before Amorim came, people were talking about him walking around, not challenging for tackles, you know. So the issue was there before Amorim came in. Then Amorim came in and he wasn't turning up and trying in training. So I don't really know what Amorim's supposed to do around Marcus Rashford. And it was Marcus Rashford at Christmas who said he wanted a new challenge as well. So I don't really get the Rashford one, if I'm being completely honest, because he wasn't doing well before Amorim came in. He wasn't putting it in when Amorim did come in. He did an interview saying he wanted a new challenge. So I'm really sort of confused by we made a mistake with Rashford because, well, we didn't, did we? He checked out. He wasn't putting the work in. We all saw it. I don't know what was going on in training, but apparently he wasn't doing it in training. I know what happened in the interview. I want a new challenge. He's gone to Barcelona, one of the best clubs in the world, surrounded by some of the best players in the world, with a system that they know and work well. He's coming into a team that's already champions, already playing well, and he's playing for a team that's better than most of the opposition. So he's going to get a lot more of the ball. The assist last night for Torres was very, very good. The goal against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago was very, very good. I don't really get the Rashford one. I don't get the mistake. I'm pleased he's doing well. I hope it means he's going to stay there. I hope we're going to get the money for him. I hope we're going to remove the wage. Maybe he will come back in the summer if we get a new manager. I don't know. But ultimately, I don't see the mistake. I think that's just sensationalist claptrap. You know, I don't see what Amorim has done in the Marcus Rashford story. He didn't go out with him in Belfast, you know, the year before. He wasn't here when he wasn't putting it in at the start of the season for Ten Hag or at the end of the season for Ten Hag. You know, he wasn't the one who did the interview and said, I want a new challenge. I find the Rashford one childish. You know, I find that one ridiculous. He is doing really well, and I think you can look at it and go, why didn't he do it in a Man United shirt? But I don't think you can aim that at Ruben Amorim, in my opinion. I think that's more about whatever was going with Rashford, because he had the problem with Ten Hag as well. He had the problem with two managers. So I think him doing well is good, but I don't think we can look at it and go, we made a mistake there. I think we can look at the Rasmus one and go, we've made a mistake. Not necessarily letting him go. That's not the thing. I think people might miss the issue is here. Look, Rasmus desperately wanted to stay. He didn't want to leave Manchester United. Personally, when he scored those goals last night, I don't know about anybody else, I think he made the best decision for his career. I think staying was the worst thing he could have done. I think he did the best thing he could do. He is playing up front for Napoli in the Champions League, scoring goals with his head, you know, man of the match. Headlines about him. He's 22. In 2 years' time, he could be at a Bayern Munich. He could be at a Barcelona. He could be at a Newcastle. You know, he'll only be 24. He can rebuild his career, and it's the right thing to do. Why be the backup striker to Sesko at Man United who isn't getting any service? So I think he's done the right thing. But I think the headline for me last night is not what people think it is. It's the disaster around our inability to create chances for our striker. And I think that got exposed last night, and it's been exposed this season. Where's the service into Sesko? We played Brentford at the weekend. He didn't get a chance. I know he scored a goal, but realistically, that was a keeping error. You know, it wasn't a particularly brilliant cross by Dorgu. He did well to keep it in, but it wasn't really service. Where's the service into our striker? Again, where's the service into Sesko? And this is the thing that bothers me. I'm not bothered about the players that have gone. I'm more bothered about the way that we play. And we've spent 200 million pounds on attackers, and I don't really feel that we are providing them with the service at the moment. JR says, our players don't supply our strikers because they have a hero complex, always want to be the one to score and be the hero. I mean, that was certainly the problem last year, definitely. When Van Persie came into the club, Sir Alex Ferguson told everyone, if you cannot pass to him, find a new club. We can buy Mbappe, but if we don't pass to him, he will fail. We buy a new centre-forward goals, but he needs service from others. Look, Seth, I think you're absolutely right. Brandon, welcome to the Members Club. Thanks for getting your badge in. Right, the equation is really simple. Rasmus Hojlund plays up front for Manchester United behind Garnacho, Rashford, Antony, Bruno, gets no service. Rasmus Hojlund goes to Napoli with Kevin De Bruyne behind him, starts scoring goals. Why? And don't talk to me about the Italian league's not the same as the Premier League. It was in the Champions League last night. So, you know, I think it's not about the Italian league being a bit slower, which it is, because it happened in the Champions League. It's about the player he's got behind him. Kevin De Bruyne, you give Erling Haaland Man United's attack last year, he ain't scoring goals. You give Rasmus Man City's attack last year, he's going to score goals. That's what I'm trying to get through. I probably should have said it at the start. That's my point. This is the disaster class at Manchester United. The inability throughout our whole team to create good chances for the guy that's meant to score the goals. Now, we can't do anything about Rasmus. Fair play, he's doing well at Napoli. But we can do something about Sesko. And I'm not going to sit here again and watch people call people like Sesko a fucking flop when he's getting no service again from the same bloody players that did it last year. Like, Amorim needs to solve this massively, because if he's going to stay in his job, you can't have a £68 million striker that doesn't score goals. And we're rubbish about it. We're absolutely rubbish about it. And that's my problem this morning. Hi, Mark. Do you think the United hierarchy are telling Amorim to play the senior players because they don't like the idea of paying such big wages for them to sit on the bench? Leocardio? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how Man United are running it. Jeg says the front three is different now. What's the issue? I mean, Jeg, I don't know. I don't know whether he just woke up. The season started in mid-August. Maybe just woke up today on October the 1st. 2nd, sorry. We're not scoring enough goals, mate. You're talking to me about the front three being different, like the front three take the ball from the kickoff and create goals. Mate, the ball's got to get to them. Is the ball getting to our front three enough? No, the midfield's shit. We're not getting the ball to our front three at all. We spent £200 million on the attack, and people keep saying we spent £200 million on the attack. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. Okay, so when you walk outside to go to work this morning and you've done your hair and you've got your T-shirt on but you've got no pants on, oh, no excuses. You look a fucking knobhead, but no excuses. You've done your hair, you've got a T-shirt on, but no excuses that you've left your bloody bottom half naked. We've spent £200 million on our attack. Doesn't mean they're going to do well, and guess what? They ain't doing well. How many goals have Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko got combined? They're not doing well, because they're not getting the ball into them. It's not their job to get the ball off the back four or the midfield and create. They need feeding, mate. You need to feed your attack. We're not feeding our attack. Hi, Mark. In Man United, everybody wants to be the main character instead of doing their simple job, says Arshan. Thank you very much. If we lose to Sunderland, is Amorim done, says Chicken Curry. Well, I think that's for a different show, maybe on the preview. Shout out to Josh and Big Bad B out in the van. Josh cried when we lost to Spurs, says Brandon McGillaway. Okay, nice little message there. And Tom Grant says, all our players on loan or who have left getting service proves exactly what we already know. Send Sesko out on loan and he'll get service as well, says Tom Grant. And if we can't pass the striker, why don't we just play a false nine, says James. We used to compare De Bruyne to Bruno, says Hazar. Players succeed in other teams due to management, players, coaching, second chance, toxic fans and English media. On a different note, Sunderland is a very solid team. Many didn't even check their results, says Sate. There is no reason for Rasmus to stay at United. He's getting fed by De Bruyne. Here we have selfish players who do not pass and do not score either, says Rajaf. What are your thoughts on Malacia rejoining the first team, says Malaki? Well, it's just depressing, isn't it? I mean, only Manchester United reintegrate a player that the rest of Europe don't want. And look, you know what? I'm not really in the mood. I don't think many Man United fans are in the mood for optimism and hope. Like, we have to live in reality. And the fact that Malacia has been reintegrated back into the first team is because nobody wants him. I don't know why we can't just be honest. He was part of the bomb squad. He was part of the players that weren't allowed to train. He was part of the team that didn't go on tour. He was part of that squad. You've got to find a club. He hasn't found a club. So we have to use him. Well, I'm not going to celebrate that. I'm sorry. You're a fucking moron if you're celebrating that. Because, and that is, you are a moron. Not you, just the people who think Malacia coming back's a good thing. He wasn't allowed to go on tour because Amorim didn't want him. And now he's been training really well. He can come back. He's shit. He's shit. PSV didn't want him. Nobody wants him. He's shit. I'm sorry. A club that's in 14th place, I'm not getting excited about a bloody left back that nobody wants. Our players don't play supply strikers because I've done that one from JR. Also, Honk says, anthropologist René Giroux philosophy says, when you use scapegoats to solve crisis, the sacrificed person becomes a god to those who cheered the original sacrifice. I think he was onto something in relation to that. Exactly. And Sean Turner says, didn't he score 5 in 6 for us in the Champions League? He was the worst player on the pitch Saturday and he got chances at United and missed 99% of them. Sean, I think you're completely wrong. Some of you might agree with Sean. I think that's an incredibly negative, agenda-driven opinion of Rasmus's time at Manchester United. Some of you will agree with it, but I don't agree with that, Sean, because what you're basically saying is Rasmus is scoring goals because he scored goals in the Champions League. He had loads of chances at Man United and he didn't take them. And so you're basically saying there's nothing wrong with our strike force because you didn't listen, Sean, did you? You didn't listen. I'm not saying letting Rasmus go was a mistake. What I'm saying is somebody's gone to another club, they're getting service and they're scoring goals. Sesko's not getting service and he's not scoring goals. You're not listening to the point. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, we're shit. We're shit. So you sitting there, you know, with your pipe and slippers going, oh, I'm happy Rasmus has gone. There's not a problem at all. He's just luckily scoring goals elsewhere. There's no problem. Nothing to see here. And behind you, the fucking fair's on fire. Sean, we're not talking about bloody Rasmus. He's gone. What we're talking about is why a player who's getting good service is scoring goals, and he had at United, he didn't get any service really, and wasn't scoring goals. And Sesko is getting no service and not scoring goals. And Cavani didn't get that much service, and Martial didn't get that much service. We don't do it. Look, Sean, we're not getting distracted on a morning show, but we've done this. As a community, you're a big member of it. You know. It's factual. Chances per game for people like Liam Delap, Ollie Watkins, Isak. Last season, they're getting between 2.5 and 4 shots per game. Xerxes and Rasmus were below 1.2. That's not service, mate. Whatever you think about those players, that's not service. It's factual. Less than 1.2 shots per game when every other bloody striker's getting between 2.5 and 4. That's not service, mate. It's not. And Burbo, Cunha and Sesko have had 38 shots and 4 goals, says Robert. Robert, I knew you... What is it about you and when I'm not in the mood for it, you jump in there two-footed? You're red-carded. You're off. Get off. Robert, can you break down the 38 shots for me, please? I know what bloody service is, Robert. It ain't shooting from 30 yards. Service is a cross into the front post for an attacker to get on the end of and score from 6 yards out. Service is putting them through one-on-one and then playing it through the goalkeeper's legs. Service is a cutback to the penalty spot when you're unmarked and having a shot on goal. Service is not Bruno playing it 5 yards and Kuna shooting from 42 yards. That's not service, mate. And you know what? We did this last week. Man United have had a lot of shots. The conversion rate is abysmal. You know why the conversion rate is abysmal? Because they're not proper chances. These are not one-on-ones. Most of our shots are coming from positions where you wouldn't expect to score. Proper service is chances where you go, that's a big miss. So, I mean, I don't think penalties are a service, but Bruno's misses should be scored. You look at Cunha's chances against Fulham. Ooh, that was close. Ooh, that was close. Ooh, that was close. The percentage chance of him actually scoring those would be quite low. All our players on loan have done that one. Okay, I need to talk about a couple other bits as well. On to better news, not for Garrett, not for Robert McCormack, because he strikes me as somebody who probably wants Southgate. There was a story in the Mirror yesterday that Gareth Southgate would refuse the Manchester United job if it was offered to him. I mean, this is good news. This is good news, but I think Man United would be bloody idiots to offer him the job in the first place, but it was coming out in the Mirror yesterday that if it was offered to him, he'd refuse it. Good. I've got no confidence that Ruben Amorim will survive at Manchester United, but if he doesn't survive, I think that would be a huge step down. The question to me would probably be why he wouldn't take it. I would hope that he wouldn't take it because he realises that some of us would be Southgate out the minute he did his first. I mean, I'm Southgate out the minute he takes the job. And I've had a load of stick for that. Some people have said, you can't do that. Watch me. I will. I can't. We've all got a right to be honest, right? There might be a player that if they signed for Man United, you wouldn't give them a chance. And with Gareth Southgate, if we give him the Manchester United job, I couldn't stand him as England manager. I was so happy when he left. Club before country every day of the week, and he frustrated the hell out of me as my country manager. If he's managing my club, it's 10 times worse. I've seen what he does at England. He's bloody useless. If he manages Man United, I'm Southgate out from day one. I don't care if I'm the only one. I'll do a poll every day. Southgate in, Southgate out. Even if his first 10 games he wins and he beats Liverpool 4-0, I'll still be there going, nah. I'll be like those Arsenal fans who, even though Arteta's done good, they just can't bring themselves to back him. From day one, I'd be Southgate out. And that's not, that's not being unfair. That's not being, an agenda. That isn't, no. That's like Christmas Day morning, right? Open up a present from the mother-in-law and it's a wool jumper and I just go, throw it away. And she's crying and I go, what are you crying for? Everyone knows I don't like wool. Do you want me to put it on? Do you want me to get, itchy and, come out in bloody hives because I don't like wool? Do you want to ruin my Christmas? Shall I ruin my Christmas just to put a smile on your face? Stop bloody crying. Pass me the wool jumper. I'll put it on just so you feel better. But no, I'm in agony. I hate wool. It doesn't suit me and it makes me get itchy and irritable. Which I am already, so pass me the wool jumper. Shall I just do it to please you? Everybody knows I don't like wool. And you bought me a bloody wool jumper. Why don't you get me some wool boxer shorts as well and really get me angry? But the point is, I don't want Southgate as Man United manager. There's no part of me that goes, ooh, this might work. So I'm not being an agenda. I'm not being unfair. You might not like cabbage, right? So you come round to my house, I make you a meal, it's stew, dumplings and cabbage. You know, I quite like it. And you go, I hate cabbage. And I go, get out. But no, seriously, I'll go, give me it, put it in the bin. You don't like cabbage. I don't like Southgate. As a coach, I do not like him. So I absolutely, from day one with Southgate, would be Southgate out. And at some point, I'd get proved right. He might have a bounce, you know, he might have a bounce, but not for me. So very, very, very happy if he doesn't want to take the Manchester United job. I'm in the minority that would like Southgate, says Artek. Block. He can realistically deliver, but doesn't that put us in a worse position? United rejected by Southgate. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking Southgate's going to deliver other than shit football, political answers, and boredom. Rajaf says, this just further solidifies Ronaldo's GOAT status. All those goals at No Service FC. How did he do it, Mark? How? Give him a statue. 17 Premier League goals, Ronaldo, in one season, in a team that really... The only thing I would say about Ronaldo is, and I think it's a great point, and this is where we went wrong with Rasmus and potential. I mean, this is a great point. This is why I love this community, okay? Even people like Sean and Robert. I love this comment because it does solidify the GOAT status of Cristiano Ronaldo, but it also confirms a theory that many of us had last season. So when you look at Rasmus, 20 years of age, up front for Manchester United, and you look at Sesko, 22 years of age, up front for Manchester United, you come into a club that you admire with an aura, but you're still young and inexperienced. So you go up front, you know, you're like a kid in a sweet shop, literally. You're running around buzzing, and then after a few weeks, you're like, okay, the pressure's starting to hit. I'm not getting the service, and you're looking around at players that are meant to be helping you, players that are meant to be nurturing you, and they're not. Now with Ronaldo, the service wasn't great, but you're Cristiano Ronaldo. So when Rashford's thinking about shooting, or Garnacho's thinking about shooting, or Anthony, or whoever we had at that time, you will be saying to them every time, stop fucking shooting and pass to me. And there will have been times where those selfish players, because it's Ronaldo, they would think, I better pass him the ball. He didn't have great service at United. I think it's miraculous that he got 17 Premier League goals in that United side. But his aura will have demanded at times, certainly, that the ball came into him. You think about Bruno was always looking for Ronaldo as well. I think that this is why we needed a really experienced striker at Man United, because you've got to demand the ball in that team because there's a lot of selfishness. Now, hopefully that will change with Cunha and Mbeumo. But again, you can start to see it with Sesko because he's a bit younger. Can he demand the service? A lot of you on the watch-alongs are highlighting situations where there's a pass to Sesko and people are ignoring it. I've seen it. I've seen him make that channel run that Rasmus made last night that De Bruyne saw. I've seen him make that run, and people are just not looking at it. And that is something that we need to work on, because being a striker is really quite simple. You get the ball. He says my finishing was shit, to be fair. But as a striker, it's all about how quick you get the ball. Because if you make the run and the ball doesn't come, you're offside. So you make the run, the ball's got to come. You make the run. You look at the second goal yesterday, De Bruyne, cross. Rasmus anticipates it. He's there. He's onside. He gets there ahead of the striker and ahead of the defender and the goalkeeper. At United, nobody plays the quick ball. Martinez is quite good at it, and we've missed him, but nobody plays the quick ball. Our centre-backs don't play the quick ball. Our midfielders don't play the quick ball. Our fullbacks don't play the quick ball. The quick ball needs to be quick. If Dorgu's got it on the left-hand side, and he did it against... I don't know whether it was Brentford. It might have been Brentford. Was it Brentford? Like, he put that cross in, and Sesko nearly got there, and Mbeumo did. Brilliant. That's... And then it doesn't happen again. Like, it's got to be the quick ball for a striker. In January 2023, Xavi wanted to walk because the Spanish media was taking a toll on his mental health. How do United fans think he'll do against it? We won't go for Xavi, Visco. We won't go for Xavi. This is just my theory, but we won't go anywhere near Xavi. I think he's a fan theory. I don't think it'll happen. I like Xavi, but I don't think we'll go anywhere near him. The Barcelona job, in essence, I mean, it's quite a simplistic view that you've said, Visco, but in essence, you're correct. The Barcelona job became too big for him, the pressure. And And also, you know, Man United's a big job. He won't do it. Apply that everyday hate for Southgate to Glinios, says Emma. I don't hate Southgate MMA takedown because I don't hate anybody. I think people who project that people hate people are haters themselves and don't have the mental capacity to realise that you can dislike something without hating it. Hate's not a trait that you should carry around. It's a negative trait, and you know, I don't do hate. As soon as Amorim leaves Man United, Sporting will make a move for him, says Sal. And what infuriates me, says Zibor, is that we don't even try to provide for a striker. It's like he's the invisible man. This is bad for team bonding as well. Look, you know what, Vibor? I watch Arsenal, and they are adjusting to Gyökeres. Like, they've not played with a striker for so long, they don't know how to find a striker. You know, Arsenal are a fantastic side, but they are adapting to having a striker because they've not been used to having a striker. It will take some time for Man United to do it, but again, we haven't done it in so long either. I'm in the minority, done that one from Artec. We should get a head start on the Southgate out just in case he is useless, says JR. Robert's back. He says, my point was that they shouldn't be shooting stupidly. Whole team do it. Also, Southgate has refused to be interviewed for anyone, wanted time away. You like Southgate, Robert. I can tell you're a Southgater. But I know, but you know, I stand corrected then. Your point is valid that the shooting still continues. I mean, look, Cunha was at it at the weekend. He was shooting from distance. It's an illness. Ahmad has it. Cunha was doing it at the weekend. Bruno's always going to do it. This shooting from distance thing, yeah, we're still doing it. Khalid says, what do you think about United now? I mean, I could do a whole show on it. Seth says, Rasmus didn't get enough service. He also dropped deep and started to do things he isn't good at. Frustration, pressure, and a lack of service got the better of him, which is exactly what De Bruyne was talking about. And Tom says, we wanted a rebuild and then complain it's not happening fast enough. Getting rid of Amorim just starts another cycle. We are not a top 5 team at the moment, says Tom. And this is where I'm sort of conflicted, Tom, just to go back to the question about what I think about Manchester United. I think it's a great point. Again, you know, people start moaning about Rashford and Rasmus and Garnacho, etc. But I don't moan about that. I think that's not what I'm moaning about. I felt we should have kept Rasmus because I wanted us to have more depth. But when Sesko comes in, Rasmus is going to be a bench player. For him, the Napoli move is correct. For us, it would have been nice to have a backup striker. In relation to Rashford and Garnacho, 100% they needed to go. And I agree with you. We do need a rebuild. And people are moaning. Like, I don't know about you, I sometimes get confused about certain people in our fan base. I actually think that they're either really thick or they haven't got a clue, which is basically the same. Oh, they're doing it on purpose. Because it's like 6 months ago, they're saying get rid of Rashford and Garnacho. And then this week, they're saying Amorim's an idiot getting rid of Garnacho and Rashford. And you're like, you can't do that. That's not fair. You can't say get rid of them and then 6 months later say it was a mistake to get rid of them. But they do. I don't think they know what they want. We do need a rebuild. And, you know, people do go in on Amorim. And my only issue with Amorim really is it's the pile-on, isn't it? I was saying this to one of my daughters last year about an issue at school. And they were getting frustrated. And I said, but look, right, the people who are your friends will be on your side. The people that don't like you, even if it's an irrational reason, they don't like you. So they're going to believe it. And it's the same with Amorim. Like, there's no rational argument from the people that don't like Amorim. Like, there'll be people this morning saying, oh, it was a mistake getting rid of Rashford, mistake getting rid of Garnacho. It's not a mistake. I mean, as part of a rebuild, it's absolutely what needed to happen. But he's made mistakes elsewhere. So everything's a mistake now. Whereas some of us have the mental capacity to go, look, he's getting some huge things wrong, but actually he has done some things right. And if Amorim got replaced, I would want the next manager to stick to that. I wouldn't want him to bring all the lone players back like Onana and Rashford, etc. I'd want that to be a line in the sand. They're gone. Where Amorim's going wrong is the recruitment is okay. The removal of players is okay. I think both could be better, but I don't think he's made any mistakes in the recruitment or in the sales and the loans. That needs to just ramp up more. Where he's making a massive mistake is he puts Bruno Fernandes in the midfield. He plays Harry Maguire as the last man. He plays Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre-back. He relies on Delo and Binder. That's where it begins and ends for me. Everything else he does, I like his interviews. I like the ruthlessness about removing players. I think the recruitment could be better, but what he's brought in has been quite good. But his team selections are awful. So I actually back him on a lot of things. The things that are going to cost him his job are team selections. But some people want to go, it's all bad. Everything he's done is bad because they don't have the brain capacity to go, everything's not green and red. He could have done some good stuff. He could have done some bad stuff, and the bad stuff gets him sacked. But some people want to go, oh, everything he's done is a mistake. Everything he's done is a mistake, and it's not. It's not. Been saying this for years, the graveyard shift is getting to Sesko, and name's been called again. No service and Sesko in pain, says Ray. Hope you're doing well, Ray. Tom Grant says, plus players coming from different systems trying to play in this system, which most have never played in, proves why this is happening. Says Tom, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you on that. If Ruben leaves, then players who sacked 2 or more managers need to leave as well. This must have been their last chance as well. You know what depresses me the most about, I mean, look, we'll be previewing the Sunderland game later. You know what depresses me the most about a managerial change is what damage that could do to the good stuff that happened. So if we change the manager and he comes in and goes, I want Onana back, I want Rashford back, Rasmus back, I want all these players back, I don't really like Mbeumo, and you suddenly go, oh, God. And that's what annoys me. That's what I'm trying to say. I think we're on the right path with a lot of the players we've removed and brought in. Amorim's just making silly team selections. I don't want a new manager to come in and go, I want all those players that he got rid of back. I don't like some of the players that he's bought. What we were talking about a couple of days ago, every Man United manager that comes in doesn't look at the past. They go, I'm not looking at anything Amorim's done or Ten Hag. I'm my own man. It's a new slate. Everybody starts again. And then what happens is they use the players that sacked the previous managers because they don't do their homework on them. So it'll be, you can continue as captain. I'm going to build my defence around you because you're experienced. We're going to use you again. And you just sort of like, I just can't do that. I can't do that again. I can't go back to another manager coming in with the reset of giving everybody a chance again. Like, there are good things that have happened. We have removed some of the right players. We have brought in some of the right players. Amorim's just messed up with his team selections. But that's the problem when you bring a new manager in. Everybody gets a bloody chance again. Like somebody just said there, the problem then is players such as Delo, Bruno, Shaw, etc., who've sacked multiple managers become key players for the next manager. And you sort of like go, here we go again. Might be a year, might be 2 years, but we'll be back here again. I know a Southgate, Nick P says, what's his justification? MMA Takedown says, what's his justification for what he's done to Yoro? I don't know, and I don't agree with it. Artex says, I can't believe we let PSG bully us out of Neves race and we took Ugarte. We would be sorted in the midfield and start rebuilding. Constantine says, this team has the ability to be relegated. Did the Madrid stadium tour and felt so jealous, says Daniel. We should have the majesty of that club. We were, and Glazers took it from us. We should be more angry. Andreas says, if Ruben leaves, then players who sacked 2 or more, done that one. Nick P says, I know a Southgate in real life. Happy in a relationship with a normal, down-to-earth girl, and I'm chasing the unobtainable and getting burnt. Paul says, for too long, Man United chose talent before mentality. Time to trust the manager. He got rid of Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony and Onana. I need the truth. And who has the most shots for us this season, says John. I don't know. My guess would be, I don't think it would be Sesko. I can't even think of many shots he's actually had. I would say it's Cunha. Although he hasn't played every game, has he? I don't know. Let us know, John, if you know. It's your boy Calv, has been a member for 78 months. You're an absolute legend, mate. Roro says, Mark Amorim in, by the way, but when he joined, everyone was all about data. He's very data-driven, and that's how he selects his team. Now he has his favourites, and he's detached, sacking himself. One Inch Wonder says, my neighbour in Saudi drives a Rolls Royce. I keep inviting him to watch United games in the hope to get United a proper sugar daddy. We'll keep you posted. Keep doing the work, mate. Keep doing the work. Can we keep an eye on Cunha versus Sunderland? A lot of shooting last weekend, not a lot of final third passes, says Bask. And why Amorim hasn't mentioned we have a 6'4" striker to everybody else, says Ollie. Yeah, some good crosses into the box would be a good idea. Shashwat says, why is Amorim failing to work with Sesko and Rasmus when he was brilliant with Gyökeres? Well, maybe he didn't get the striker he wanted, to be fair. I mean, look, Sesko was 5th choice. If you want to predict the future, you must study the past. The same is happening to Amorim, says Uncertainty Principle. But you know what? So many managers don't do it. So many managers don't, study the past. They come in with an ego and they don't bother. They don't want to look at what previous managers have done. It's almost like an ego thing. And, so many people just don't do it. It's weird in that sense. Sorry, I don't want to forget this, so I'm just going to write a little note for myself. It's to do with you lot, don't worry. Right, where were we going with that one? The Saudi friendlies. Well, we sort of spoke about this a little bit before, didn't we? We did talk about this before a few weeks ago about whether we should be doing friendlies when the Champions League is on. I think it was Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic mentioned it yesterday that they're looking at doing some in Saudi. There's two lanes of thought here. Man United's Amorim himself said that having all week with the players to train would be massively advantageous, not being in Europe. It hasn't been. We had a whole week ahead of Brentford and we played shit. So, this whole... I mean, look, we're not seeing the advantage of having a whole week training, are we? We're not. That performance against Brentford was absolutely abysmal. The warning signs were that against Chelsea was that they had 10 men for most of the game. We had a whole week to prepare and we were rubbish. So, on the one hand, you could say we're a bit hypocritical if we play friendlies when we've been saying about having a week off in the midweek. Also, we're still picking up injuries. We're playing less games and we're still getting injuries. People are still picking up injuries, Mazraoui, etc. So I don't necessarily see the benefit at the moment. It's still relatively early in the season, but I haven't seen any benefit of this whole week of preparation. What I will say is that if you go to Saudi and you get 5 million, okay, some of that goes towards debt, some of it goes towards other things, but it's still 5 million into the club. So, I mean, look, club fans that are in the Champions League talk regularly about the £100 million they're going to earn. We're earning nothing. We're not performing. Maybe friendlies might actually help us perform better. Maybe the players need game time, not playing time on the pitch. So I'm of the opinion that if these friendlies are lucrative, play them. You get money. You get a bit of game time. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. Now, if we were top of the league and we were playing well and we looked really fit and everybody was fit and everyone was playing well and somebody said, we're going to start playing friendlies in Saudi, I'd say, hold on a minute, we're jeopardising something here. But we're not jeopardising anything. We're playing really bad. We've had no benefit from it. We're still picking up injuries. We might actually be better for more competitive football. So I would do it. I ain't got a problem with it. It's the modern world. It's the modern world. I mean, it's not like we're going to play bloody Sunderland in New York in a Premier League game. We're going to go to Saudi and earn a bit of bloody money. And we're playing shit anyway. I don't really have a massive problem with it. The club is broke. It needs some money. I don't really think it's that deep. Sir Alex said, pass to Van Persie or never play again. Amorim should do the same. Watch the passes flow, says Jack B. James says, do I take Mrs. out for a meal tonight or watch the Europa League games? Definitely go out for a meal, James. 100%. Daniel says, alcoholics don't run in my family. They drive. Okay. You wake up tomorrow as the owner of United. Congratulations. What's the first thing you're doing, says George. Oh, God. I mean, that's a tough question because the transfer window is not open. First thing I do is call a meeting with Ruben Amorim and say, what the fuck's going on? And I would say to him, mate, you ain't going to survive. You need to listen to me, right? Your defence can't have Maguire and Luke Shaw in it. They've sacked loads of managers. They're too old. They're backup players. You've got to go Yoro, De Ligt, and probably Heaven. You've got to, you've got to give the fans a future, and they give you a future, and they're quicker as well. Midfield, you can't play Bruno. I don't care what. You can walk. Don't threaten with me. Walk. Because you ain't playing Bruno in the midfield. You go Agate and Mainu, or you go Agate and Casemiro. Bruno can't play in the midfield. And again, you'll get the fans back on side. Those two things have to happen. And get Binder out of goal. We paid £4 million for Binder, mate. We've spent 20 on Lemens, and Lemens is on the bench. Get rid of Binder in goal as well. Build a fucking future. I'll back you on a future. I tell you what, straight after this interview, if you agree with what I've just said, I'm going to go and do an interview to the world. And I'm going to say I'm backing this manager. We're aligned on what needs to do. It's going to get worse before it gets better. There will be investment in the team. There will be investment in January. But right now, it's October. We're in a difficult position. We've had a chat. I've said to Ruben, this is what I want. He's going to do it. Let's get moving. Because we can't buy players at the moment. So he's got to show a vision, and I don't see a vision. I don't even get what I'm meant to be getting excited about with Bruno in the midfield. I don't get what I'm meant to be excited about Maguire and Shaw in the back line and Binder. All I see is Ruben Amorim walking around with a big plaster, trying to cover the wound. Let's have the operation. Rather lose to Sunderland with a team that might get better than with a team that's got no future. If you wanted to predict the future, you must study the past. That was a very good point from uncertainty principle. There was one other thing I wanted to... Oh, yes. Some people are leading on this bollocks this morning. So, 17-year-old Columbian talent Cristian Orozco has signed for Manchester United. Here we go. $1 million transfer fee in dollars in a deal valid from summer 2026. Deal coordinated by lead scout Anto Nacho. So, yeah, I mean, I don't actually care because it doesn't help Manchester United right here, right now. He might be a player in the future that could be quite decent, but he won't be coming until next summer like Leon. Where's Leon? Not even on the bench most games. So, yeah, look, great. We're buying young players for the future. Do we need young players for the future? Yes, of course we do. Do those young players for the future help us now? No. Will he help us next season? No. Could he help us in the future? Yes. Let's hope he's a good player for the future. Yes. But right here, right now, we need results. And we've, let's hope that in the future he becomes a good player. But right here, right now, my reaction to it is, last time I checked, people were screaming for a manager's head. Not about to start singing from the rooftops about a 17-year-old who's joining next summer. The American gangster says, look, he could be really good, but so could Kone, who's already been here for a year. So could Obi, who's already been here for a year. So could Heaven, who's already been here for a year. We need now. We need now. Nice haircut, Mark. Started a career mode with you. Hopefully my career mode's back tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully it's back tomorrow. It will be back tomorrow. Andy Atherton says, as someone who experienced the Fergie years, I simply now feel detached from the club. Sacking Amorim will not change the fundamental issues. You know what I did this morning when I woke up? I woke up this morning and I went on my phone. Don't worry, it's nothing like that. And I went on my phone and I can't remember what app it was. But it obviously knows me. And it was, you know what it was? It was 6 minutes extended highlights of Manchester United against Wimbledon at Selhurst Park. And we're talking, I think, probably 94, maybe 93, maybe 95, but it's between 93 and 95. Anyway, it's basically, Man United win 2-0. Ince got one, and I can't remember who gets the second one. I bloody watched it this morning. Ince got one, and I want to say McClare, but I don't know. Someone in the chat will know. Anyway, the whole point of it was that Wimbledon were really nasty. Vinnie Jones was on the pitch. And the whole 6 minutes isn't really about the goals or the chances. Brian Robson was playing in the midfield, so it was about the way United, even though they were the best team in England, would go to Wimbledon, who were bullies, and fight them. And you've got Hughes, mud all over his face, Cantona, Ince, Robson, Bruce, Pallister, Irwin, Parker. They're all flying into tackles against Wimbledon. And I'm watching it and I'm going, I don't know whether this is from the football gods to bring into the morning show, but I'm watching it and I'm going, this is what I mean. This 6 minutes needs to be shared with everybody. I just don't have the link to share it because I think for the younger lot, you won't remember it. But that's what Man United is. That was a horrible pitch at Selhurst Park against Wimbledon, who get 10 men sent off every game now. But Man United, the best team, they know they're not going to play football. They know to win that game, they've got to fight. And they roll their sleeves up and they're flying into tackles and they're giving as bad as they're getting. Like Ince is flying in two-footed. Robson's going in, you know, elbows and everything. Steve Bruce as well. And we're fighting them at their level. And you know what that is? That is a winning mentality to go, look, we're better than you at football, but if you want to fight, we'll fight you as well. And teamwork as well. Like somebody goes bad in on Robson, Ince is flying in, Hughes is flying in. It's just, I love that 94 side, that era of, it's a different United. Not a lot of people remember it because you've got to be a bit older. But I love that team of Hughes and Ince and Kanchelskis and Cantona, and Robson was still playing then, Bruce, Pallister, Schmeichel was in goal. It was the bedrock of everything that came. They were the first team, really, that sort of gave us that dominance. But oh my God, Sharp and Giggs were there as well. They could fight. They enjoyed fighting as much as they enjoyed playing. I look at this United side, we can't play and we can't fight. We can't do either. And I thought, you know what, as a fan, I'm watching that 6 minutes this morning, enthralled just by tackling. And I'm like, that's what needs to be played to the modern Man United player. That's what a Man United player is. I don't even know if they understand what a Man United player is. I think they think a Man United player is someone who hits a 40-yard shot into the top corner or, you know, a brilliant assist or whatever. That's what a Man United player is. That's what a Man United player is. That 6 minutes is what a Man United player is. It's when you can't score the worldie. You know, you can't play a 20 pass move and put it in the top corner goal. It's rolling your sleeves up and going, let's win the war. Then we'll win the game. And you don't need, it's personality, it's character. And I know football's very different now, but there are still those personalities out there. You just got to go and find them. This team does need to get nasty. It does. It does. Bullies, you know, that's what we had. But not bullies in the sense that they were horrible people. They were just like, as a collective, no one's bullying us. But we were like that after that. It started there and it continued through everybody else, through the class of 92, you know, all the way through to the Rooney era, all the way through Sir Alex. Sir Alex made that happen. And, you know, you watch that and then you watch Man United at Brentford and you're like, if I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. But, you know, they're a stain on the name. And that's why some people go, oh, you're too harsh on the players. We're too harsh on the players because we know what it means. We know what it means. If we'd never seen it, we'd be unfair. It'd be unfair to criticise these players if we hadn't seen what it is. And that's why when I see these interviews where they go, oh, it's the pressure of being a Man United player. Bog off. I mean, if you were playing well and fighting and getting pressure, understandable. But you don't put a fight in, you don't play well, and you're moaning about pressure. Maybe put a fucking performance in, you know. You don't get any pressure when you play well. So why don't you maybe try that? Maybe try that. Great point, Andy Atherton. Rome Influencer says, I sent an email regarding potential brand sponsorships a few times. Can you look at this, please? Both inboxes. Rome Influencer, I know you keep messaging me about this, but this is a football show, and you might not realise this, but the United Stand is not run by me. Like, it's quite a big organisation now, so it will be going into whoever deals with brands and stuff like that. So apologies if somebody's not replied to you yet, but it's not, you're not hitting me with like branding stuff and everything like that. So asking me about it is not going to work. I will drop a message to Ross and see if he's had it all. I think that's the problem nowadays. No passion, says Evan Whelan. And Skippy says, Busby, Sir Alex both took risks with kids. Ruben needs to invoke that maverick spirit. Be bold. Don't put your faith in the current leadership group. If you lose, that's fine. It is the United way, says Skippy. I mean, I disagree with you on that one. I mean, I can't talk to you about Busby, Skippy, because it was way before my time. But I think with regards to Sir Alex, the class of 92 was surrounded by Bruce, Schmeichel, Keane, Cantona. So, you know, you've still got to have a leadership team to help develop these young players. You can't just chuck young players in. Our leadership team is a big problem. How do you replace that? Yeah. American Gangster says, I literally have you as manager in my career mode. Okay. Oh, you've just created it. I see what you mean. Okay, we have covered everything. I wrote something down. Oh yeah, I did it. The Saudi thing. We did it. Great show this morning. Absolutely fantastic. 2 o'clock today, Ben Jacobs on the show. Make sure you watch that. I think the title is basically Not Safe. So I think we know where we're going with that at 2 o'clock. Obviously around the manager. Ben's got some stuff around that to bring into the show, so don't miss the 2 o'clock show around Amorim's future. And then obviously 8 o'clock show tonight. And then Amorim press conference previews, game on Saturday. So it's all coming back very, very quickly. Love the show this morning. Love the different opinions. That's what it's all about. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. I'll speak to you on the next one. Thanks for watching.